Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
Absolutely impossible scene.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakey will dive to the inside.
We're robust, we got our elbows out.
Ronard takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yarda Watmere is your champion.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the 5th round of Premier Sim Gaming League. This is PlayStation. Too used to it. This is PC Formula 4. I am Otaku Logan, standing in this week, and I am joined by my co-commentator, Abby Tyrrell. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm glad to be here. I know this is a group of drivers who always put on a show for us on a Thursday evening, so I'm excited to be doing it alongside you.
Yes, absolutely. This 5th round of 11 sees us go to the fantastic Red Bull Ring. There it is in all of its glory. See, it is one of the fastest and shortest tracks on the calendar. Has been around as the Austria Ring before. We are just about to load up into the game, by the way. 10 turns. Much longer though, of course, but they changed it so they could race again now. It has been hosting the Austrian Grand Prix since 2014. Total of 4.326 kilometers long. It's about 2.68 miles. Since 1987. So yes, it's going to be a pretty exciting track here. There are, I believe, 4 straight mode zones, if I can my math correctly. It doesn't come with the straight mode map, not that great, but hey, we got something. At least the map is on the board. There's the standings as it stands. We're currently on a tie of 41 points from Demis Kamensky and Marcel Paps, but with 2 wins to Marcel's 1. Dennis, who has the lead. That pole position point proving to be important for pole position point. You can't really tell the difference between P and F on that board, but that extra point seemingly proving to be the crucial point that keeps them in the lead, and the win, of course, which breaks the tie. I think we've lost Abby. Abby, are you there?
Oh, yeah, there we go. We're back. A little bit of technical difficulties on my side.
Oh dear.
But we are there.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll get our hang of it. This is the qualifying session, as you know. 18 minutes to set the fastest lap around the Red Bull Ring. Do that. Be on pole position.
It's going to be a particularly exciting one, both, I think, in qualifying and in the race. But we'll start with qualifying. We know with these new cars, the big talking point is going to be those batteries. This track has got a lot of straight, so how do you think the drivers are going to be approaching that? And maybe a bit of battery management, a bit of battery strategy.
Yes, of course, we have to keep saying it. The battery management is going to be key here with these new regulations. We're going to be seeing a lot more lift and coasting into the corners. I know people have strong opinions about it, but we'll just go with the flow. This is the qualifying session. Denis Kamensky, the championship leader, makes his way out to the track.
I will say that what we've seen so far this season, TES in this particular division have been absolutely on fire. Denis Kamensky leading the charge, as you said earlier, but with a 1-3 last week in not Miami, in Madrid, I should say. Brand new track for drivers to get used to it. It was a chaotic race with D'Amico splitting them in P2. I think they're really leading the mark TES, looking for that top drivers and constructors spot. So I'm excited to see what they can do around Austria. A track maybe they're a bit more familiar with than Madrid.
Yes. Of course, Madrid, I believe, not happened last week in... No. It was F5 and F3, I do apologise. It did happen. Of course, being a new track and all. was quite difficult to navigate. When I was commentating on Monday, it was raining during the grid race on the PlayStation side, and that was pretty insane. But we're getting laps on right now. Malco will be the first. He goes right past Niki Lauda curve, and he'll be going up the hill towards Remus. Sorry, mistake there. They'll be coming right down the hill, across a couple kinks into Schloss Gold. I'll be pretty precise with the braking on here, especially if you don't want to go into the gravel trap on the other side. Swooping through into the next 2 turns. Pretty key to get right, or you'll be ending up in the gravel again and you're losing precious time. Up the hill before the final 2 corners. Don't want to invalidate here either. DeMalco will be the first across the line. He doesn't invalidate at the final turn 10, which many people do, and he set a 103.782, Abby.
Yeah, that is a great start. I'm sure that's going to give him some confidence, leading the charge with that banker lap. Alessandro Finn going a bit slow, only a few tenths added on to his time with a 4.0 there. Pascal Gill splitting them. And as you said, there's still Dennis Kamensky with a 0.6, and that's top the timing sheets as it stands. As you did say, yeah, didn't invalidate. That's something the drivers need to consider. This isn't something new. This is something that they've had to deal with their many years of experience going around the Red Bull Ring. Track limits, keeping those 4 wheels within the white lines. And as you said, time 9 and 10 being 2 of the more difficult places to keep it within those white lines. Are the drivers going to be able to do that? Where else could they potentially feel that pressure?
Pressure will be turn 4. Turn 4 is known to be quite a nuisance. If you overcook it, you could lose momentum and head in the gravel, as well as the 2 turns after that. You want to get your placement, tire placement, just right on outer curb. That has always been quite a nuisance when you're doing qualifying, not just the race. Kuzella's on a lap, Kamensky's teammate, around the second sector, actually for turn 8 there. And the straight mode will be on. There are 4 straight mode zones. Touch the button when you get there. Into the final corner, and it will be a 103.713. That puts him just over a tenth behind Kamensky, and he's into 3rd on the second row.
Yeah, exactly what we expected from the TES boys, being the top dogs here. They're once again showing their pace in the early laps of qualifying. We've still got a long way to go. See, around the final few corners goes the Turkish driver Espezi in the Audi, sporting those colours today. Goes 14th fastest. I'm sure he won't be too happy with that. One of the only drivers not able to break into the 3s. But it's very impressive to say that being anywhere near the 3s is an incredible lap time, it's fair to say.
So 5 minutes gone in the session. Early days yet. Spade's on a lap in the Haas. The lovely Toyota Gazoo Racing Haas. Won't be surprised to become a Toyota one day. Spade coming to the line. He will be only in 18th. He's already done 3 laps on those tyres. Hopefully, you're the one and going back in. But this track being short and sweet, you probably have some leeway of using the tyre as much as you want. But of course, it does come with the added risk of, you could always, if you do invalidate your first lap, you can always try again the next lap around, but at the cost of some tyre grip. It's quite a risk to take, but Suede is will to take that risk, and unfortunately, he's only managed to 19th. Again, early days, and he'll get a new fresh set on when he gets back to the pits. Pretty much no action at all at the moment. I believe Gorski on a lap. No, he's go round and Pabst joint championship, see, before the tie breaking. It's just coming in the pits as well, so I don't believe anyone is on a lap right now, but we have D'Amico, Pascal Gill and Alexi Cavero coming out to start their second round.
Yeah, what you said earlier about the track being short is very true. I mean, in terms of distance, it's one of the shortest tracks, but also the fact it's only got about 4 or 5 braking zones, depending on how brave you are going around the track. It's forcing these lap times to be so close. I mean, it's half a second is between P1 and about P17. So I think we're going to see that trend going through the remainder of the 11 minutes of this qualifying, where the times are right on the brink. I'm sure we might see some lap times that are identical to the 3 decimal places.
Good indeed. That has happened before, but I do believe if that happens in the rules, the first to set it does get the position, because of course back evolution tiebreaker. Miko on his second go around, and he improve on his time. He needs to improve by about 0.17 if he wants to get that pole spot. Here comes around the final stretch, and it will be second for the Ferrari driver. Puts himself on the front row for the moment. That's going to set everyone alight for their next lap. Mensky is not out yet, but one guy is Cavero, starting his lap. Backed off for the D'Amico, who just finished his lap. Limo is also on his. Pascal Gill has just finished his, and he's gone up to 9th in that Cadillac. New team, completely new team for this season. Now up the grid to 20 cars.
Yeah, absolutely. What I've noticed actually from Pascal Gill and Molimo as well, they're not actually on an in lap. I believe they're on their second out lap. With the extra fuel in the car, they're looking to reduce that fuel with an extra out lap. And you can see they're carefully finding their way around the track, looking not to damage those tyres too much with the extra out lap, but will reduce the fuel, hopefully make the car a bit lighter and a faster lap time. But is that a risk that it's going to pay off, or is it a bit risky?
Well, it depends on how you look at it from a driver's perspective. I think it's quite a bit risky, considering that if you use up too much fuel, you might not have enough fuel to get around the whole lap, and if you don't use enough fuel, of course, then you might have your time increased unnecessarily, and of course, the more fuel you have on, the little heavier the car gets. It doesn't sound like much, but believe me, every gram of weight is very important to take into account. That includes the fuel. Of course, in the real world, they would weigh the car, but we don't do that here. It's necessarily there. So,
I'm watching.
Sorry, go on.
I'm watching come out the final corner. That's Jonas Orpel, who looks to go just outside the top 10. It was a good middle sector, but I think he might have made a mistake. Then he did outside of turn 10. He's invalidated his lap. That lap looked like it was going to put him just outside the top 10, which would have been a good improvement, but he's going to have to wait until his final run, unless he's got, like you said, enough fuel in the car to go again. And I hope for his sake he does. I think we've got about 8 minutes left on the clock.
Yes, we do. Pascal Gill's coming around the line at the final corner, and he is clean through the final corner. What is this lap going to be? It is good enough for 5th, a 1:03.77 from the Cadillac driver, Pascal Gill. 6th place, as I believe, is that Ken Fisher has set the 3rd fastest time with a 1:03.696. So 3 drivers into the 1:03.6s.
Yeah, it's getting ever so close up at the front there. TES holding 3 of the top 4 spots, with D'Amico getting himself involved in that front fight again, as we've seen in a lot of races this season so far. I think Ken Fisher may be going again, actually. He's still burning his battery, going down the hill at top 5. Have you seen it? There he has indeed. Yeah, he's improving. Very, very minor, though. He's found about a 1/10 of or a 100th of a second, I should say, through that middle sector. He's going to have a pretty special final sector to improve his position. Let's see what he can do. Down the hill at turn 9 and through turn 10 once again, staying away from that track limits, and he's close to the line, as we've seen from a lot of these drivers. Active Aero enabled, and he doesn't improve his time. Only very marginally slower, just under 200ths of a second.
Yeah, sorry, I had to attend to something now, so I couldn't actually catch some of the action. Sorry about that. But we do have drivers finishing their laps, coming back into the pits, and we've got some drivers going out again, getting their own laps. One of them is Gondos in the Williams. Up the hill, the kinks, through the new chicane that was installed for MotoGP for safety purposes, up to the top of the hill. This is where it's pretty easy to win and lose time. both in the qualifying and the race. And overtakes. Oh, what have you just seen?
I've just seen Neo Steins, who was very close to the rear of a Mercedes coming round turn 9, and he's dropped it on the exit of the corner. A little bit too much throttle, and he has found himself going backwards. I'm sure he won't be too happy about the Mercedes in front of him.
Well, not indeed. And he goes back into the pits. Head in his hands. Have to go again. He'll have one last shot, I'd imagine. I think Gondos has given in, yes. I think he was. But Kamensky is starting another lap here. Still the time to beat 103.611, which was set early in the session, and it is yet to be taken down so far, showing his supreme speed, showing why he is qualified on the pole twice in a row already, trying to make it free here.
Alexi Cavero, welcome to the pole fight into the 0.6s, and he's put himself P3. The FVR driver now, if the order stays the same, will start on the second row of the grid. So a great lap from him there, but we've still got one more round trip to go with 5 minutes left on the clock, and he should have time to come back in, get a new set of fresh tyres, and try and improve on his lap time.
Yeah, Kamensky I'm on board with now. He is slower coming into the second sector, but he now faster coming into the third, going around turn 8, and then it'll be 9 and 10, the tricky one. There's his teammate. Did he give him a tow? Couldn't really catch it, but here he comes. Around the final 2 corners. Is he going to set the bar even higher? Oh, he's just kept it in bounds. And he has. He's got over by a 10th. He's improved by over a 10th, and now he has a 0.15 gap over D'Amico in second. What a lap.
That's going to give him a huge amount of confidence now. He's got that safety. He got about a 10th to the rest of the field. So even if he does make a mistake on his final lap, he has a bit of time to spare in case there are improvements behind. But that was an absolutely fantastic lap.
Absolutely. A huge cushion now for Kamensky. D'Amico is going to have to find 1.5 tenths on the nose or more to get that pole position. For everyone else, it's pretty much 2 tenths or more. Looking at the times, the slowest time by Jonas Orpel is just over 3/4 of a second slower. That's how tight the times are here in qualifying. Every millisecond counts, and that's probably an understatement.
Yeah, it may well be when we come to the end of this qualifying session, because everyone will have another go round. But I think there are 2 cars on track right now. One is Alex Lamas, and the other one is actually his on-track teammate, Pascal Gill, who I imagine, considering how we've got a lot of time left in this session for an outlap, they may be going for what we talked about earlier, and that double outlap, trying to reduce the fuel in that car and make it a bit lighter for the straights.
Yeah, so we've got 2 drivers. Sorry, can you hear my chair?
Only that time. We haven't had it before.
Right. Have 5 drivers coming out on a lap. One of them being, or actually 2 of them being the Cadillacs. There's Alex and there's Pascal. Pascal is now going to start his lap. He's got to beat 103.508. He's on a 7.7 right now. Through the first corner, and he nearly goes wide at the first. Coming up the hill. Elementary taking all the track he can. This is pretty much the optimum spot, is to have the curve right in the middle of the car placement. Towards turn number 4. Right just before the 50. I think he's got that perfect. For the next two swooping left-handers. Doesn't quite get the inside, but he's pretty good with the placement of the car in the midst of it. Here he comes. He turns to go. And Pascal go any higher up the order in that Cadillac. See as he comes to the final corner, and it will be a second place time. He's improved, and he's 100th ahead of D'Amico. He's on the front row.
Yeah, big lap from him. I'm sure he'll be happy, but now it's just a waiting game to see what the other drivers on the grid can do. And I'm trying to see if there's any improvement. Alexi Cavero is matching his lap time going through the first sector. So we'll see if he can find an improvement later on in the lap. Molimo as well coming down the hill now at turn 5. The ET8 driver looking to find that improvement, working his way through these sweeping left-hand corner. He's found about half a tenth, which could put him up to potentially a top 5 start if he can make a strong final sector. Here he comes down the hill. Very aggressive turn in through turn 9. And here comes turn 10, keeping it away from those white lines, and he's right on the limit of it. Here comes the ET8 driver, crosses the line, and it is P5.
P5, 4. And Alexi Cavero, as I try to find him, has gone up into third. He is 4 thousandths ahead of D'Amico. And Mark goes into second, and he's into the 103.5s. Kamensky is... I don't think he's on a lap yet. He is obviously not going to improve. Pascal Gill is there in third. There's 30 seconds left in the session. D'Amico is improving. Trying to get back onto the front row. It was taken away by Pascal and then Mark. And now he's going to try and get it back again through the final 2 corners now. Can he keep it inbounds? Yes. Pretty clear that in the 10th turn. And it is good enough only for 32 thousandths off Ken Fisher, who's just set the second best lap, and he retires from the session. Well, it's not going to make any difference because, of course, you can't set any more laps. Time is up in the session. We've got cars still starting their lap, and I do believe perhaps to set his lap, Orpel's only went up to 19th. Zella's coming across the line, and he's only got into 10th. 11th. He's just been overtaken by Neil Steins in 5th, who's just behind him. Anything else?
Ooh, Alex Lamas has found a wall at turn 4, but I did see a big improvement from Neo Steins, who worked his way up to P5. An unfortunate invalidation from Michael Kuzella keeps him in in P11, I should say. It goes Zetany Gondos, who stays in P12, can't improve out into the top 10. I think that's all the improvements we're going to see. Brian Camporsi coming across the line, who did find an improvement, but invalidated his lap time. He would have been on a 6.6. That would have put him up into the top 10. But I think that might be our grid order.
Yep, and Kamenski's coming across the line. He nearly improves, but is 7 thousandths short, but that won't matter. He has done enough, unless Alex Lamas... No, Alex Lamas is going to pit. Dennis Kamensky's got pole position and another point to his score. That means he now has a 1-point lead in the championship. Tiebreakers are seldom needed. Kamensky's on pole. Ken Fisher will be starting the race in 2nd place in the front row. And then D'Amico and Mark will be starting on the 2nd row. Neil Steins and Pascal Gill on the 3rd. Lucas and Alexei 4th row. Limo and Marcel Pass round out the top 10 in the 5th row. Zella and Gondos will be 6th row. Alex Lamas and Spezzi, 7th row. And Corsi and Ordinohux just behind them. Then Sved and Laminen. And Orpel will be starting in 19th on the 10th row. Try and see get the screen loaded. There we go. And Tom Wolfdram will join him on the 10th row. And Alessandro Fern will be on his own in 11th row. Just over half a second behind the pole time. By the way, look at it, 6th and 7th. I'll make the meme. Exactly the same time. Bill and Lucas, the same time.
But as you said earlier, the man who sets the lap time first will keep the better position. So Pascal Gill takes 6th place on the grid. But what's also very impressive I've seen is that earlier in the session, we were talking about, how incredible it's going to be. There's a couple of drivers breaking into the 0.8s, and they ended up finishing in the 0.5s and nearly into the 0.4s on the side of Kamensky. So the track evolution was incredible, even though the track itself is quite short. A lot of drivers finding a lot of time throughout the session.
Yes, lots of time throughout the session, especially with that track even comes at you quickly. I am trying to fix the issues I'm having with stream. But yes, Kamensky getting another pole position. I believe that's his 3rd in a row.
Yeah, I mean, he's been incredible in qualifying, both qualifying and race, in fact, actually picking up a win in Madrid last week. So I imagine he's going to be a man to keep an eye on for the commencing, I think, 36 laps, I want to say, around Austria. It's going to be a big performance from him. I'm sure if he can hold on to that top spot, but he's going to be under pressure from Fisher, D'Amico, and the others behind, I'm sure.
excited to see there will be a change in order. By the way, 2nd through 5th, separated by 15 thousandths.
It's as close as we expect from Austria, isn't it? It's such a fantastic track for qualifying. Have you managed to sort out any issues?
Yes, I believe I've sorted it.
Lovely.
So just to wait a few seconds, guys, because we're about to get here. There is the screen. Everyone preparing their setups. It should be fairly fine in terms of race weather.
Looks to be.
A bit of cloud, but not any rain. If we do get knowledge about that, we will let you know. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the start. The start of these races in Austria are usually pretty exciting, especially at the 3rd turn. But of course, if you've seen the real world, you will know that it can be quite hectic.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in recent years, there's been a few incidents there. So I imagine in league racing and sim racing there will be as well.
Final preparations to be made before underway. Question will be answered is: can Kamensky be stopped? Can anyone pass him on the first turn? Can Fischer stick his nose in early on, create a buffer, and potentially shake up the order in this race? Waiting for everything to be set up. Of course, Kamensky, championship leader, will want to extend his championship. He has a big chance to do it tonight. See the standings there. Perhaps on 41 as well. Kamensky also on 40. Well, he's now on 42, and of course, a long way ahead of Alex Mas. It's in 3rd in the Cadillac. Fischer, though, wants to increase his score and wants to jump all of them and go into 3rd. That would be something for him. Starting in 2nd. Remember, 16 points for win, 12 for 2nd, 10 for 3rd. 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the next 7. Of course, we've already awarded the pole position point. There we go. 5 lights are facing our drivers. And the hills are alive with the sound of engines. Dennis Kamensky immediately ahead of everyone as he head into the 1st turn. They're going to go in 2 by 2 at some places, but it looks pretty clean at the start. 7th and 8th, that's Cavero and Lucas already fighting for position. And also is Pascal Gale and Steins heading up their turn. And that is Lucas heading for a shot into the 3rd turn. And I believe that is a Spezzi going wide of there. And 4th and 5th place are also exchange positions. Neil Steins and Mark. Great start by Neil Steins, but he can't get past Mark at the moment. And he's actually collided with him. And he's going to lose the position to Pascal Gale in 5th.
Yeah, it's getting chaotic on this opening lap as down the hill they go. Great start by that first forward, holding on to their positions. Pascal Gill up one as well, past Neo Steins with that little contact at turn 4 there. As they weave through, going towards the final sector. This is a tricky place to make a move. Is there anyone looking for it? I think there might be a Mercedes in the background trying to pick up some positions. As there's Kuzella trying to find a way around the outside of Cavero at turn 9, but not an opportunity there. But that is the first lap completed. A long way to go for these drivers.
Dennis leads by 3 tenths. DeMarco is trying to get past Ken Fisher. They're separated by 2 tenths. Further down, the 2nd lap as it begins, Lucas has already got himself up to 8th place already. That's Mark and Pascal Gill fighting for 4th position, and that is Pascal Gill into 4th, and now Mark might lose to Neil Steins, and he has. Mark now down to 4th place. From 4th place to 6th place in just a couple of corners, and Spezzi and Kuzella are going at it into turn number 4, and it looks like Kuzella is ahead. The top 3 are separated by 1 second from 4th. Look at that gap. What has happened there? Has Pascal Gill created quite a buffer with all this fighting with Steins and Mark? Perhaps so.
Yeah, this is going to be a dream moment for the top three. If they can break away from that 1 second range, it won't allow P4 and downwards into that blue battery range where they get the extra burst of battery and the extra regen as well. The gap, however, staying at 0.8 and weren't able to break away. Pascal Gill still clinging on, and they'll have access to that extra battery. But up the hill they go. Is Ken Fisher close enough to mount a challenge to Dennis Kamensky? Not quite at turn 3. He's going to get another run going towards turn 4. He needs a good exit here if he wants to track position.
Oh, there's a spin. We've got a spin. I believe that's Tom. Is that Tom Wolfgram? And that's an Audi off the track. I think that's Spezzi again. Not too sure what happened there. I was too focused at the battles in front of it. And that's an Alpine of Laminen getting involved again. And it looks like it has corrupted Kuzella. He's losing positions left and right. Down to 15th now.
That is a heartbreak for TES, who've been on such great form. But dropping that far back, he's dropped down now 4 positions from where he began. He's got a long way to charge back up to get into that points playing positions. Well, all that top group still staying within that 1 second range, just about. Marcel Paps nearly losing out to Alexi Cavero there. I think he's just managed to hold on, and he has. And he'll still get that extra battery down the straights into the pits. Goes Wade, who I imagine has damage on that car.
Yeah, he does. Ken Fisher's closing up to Kamensky. They're separated by 2/10, but it doesn't seem like he's going to get out of line just yet, as yellow flag there. That's Tom Wolfram. He's went into the wall at what I believe is turn 1, and unsure what's happening here. Has he had a wheel malfunction? Well, it's starting to work again. Not too sure what happened there, but he is in 20th because, of course, Swade is in the pits. At the top, though, Kamensky leading Fisher and DeMichael. Still your top 3. Pascal Gill is in 4th. And he's 7/10 down from the Ferrari of DeMichael.
Yeah, he's holding on. He's doing well, considering I've also checked the strategy. He's opted for those hard tyres. He's opted for the white rims, you can see as he drives past. That's going to mean he's extending this first stint to have a faster second stint. And the main job for him now is just stay with that top 3. Don't let them escape, and you'll benefit off it at the end of this first stint in the race. Up the hill they go again through turn 1. What was Ken Fisher's exit like? It looked pretty solid. Has he got a run on Dennis Kamensky up at the front? He's looking at his mirrors as well. It's full of Scuderia red. I think D'Amico might be closing in on a challenge down the inside. The McLaren forced to go defensive at the apex of the corner, and that might have hindered his exit just a little bit. Here comes D'Amico again. Can he get another run? Down the straight going towards turn 4. He's not going to be close enough unless he dives, and he opts for the safer option at lap 5.
Yeah,
a little bit spicy.
Sorry, there's a lot of battling going on in the mid-pack. It was about to cut off, and that's Kazella corrupted again! Kazella not having the best luck today, as Gondos gets past him, he gets immediately pounced on by Camporsi, now stuck in 15th again. And he'll pretty much remain there for a while, but Camporsi has hards on, and he's already making a move on his... He's trying to make a move on his teammate. He's going to try and get into 13th place. Thomas Laminen, of course, ahead of him, and he's on the medium tyres, but they've already been used for 4 laps. And of course, as you know, medium tyres are going to run out pretty soon. Yeah,
absolutely. This must be so frustrating for Mikhail Kuzella, who knows he's quicker and wants to be fighting up at the front, but it's a waiting game. Wait for the right moment. But you can see there's the 2 Alpines swapping positions as Camporsi goes round the outside of turn 3. He's got the move done at the apex of the corner. Is there, first retirement.
Yeah, he's retired in the pits, so it's all over for the Aston Martin driver, Tom Wolfgram. Out with 0 points. I believe he was the driver that was spun around at turn 3 earlier on, but that is the end of his race. It's Kamensky leading Ken Fisher and DeMichael, your top 3. Yellenstein's in 4th and 5th. And Molimo chasing him down with the medium tyres on in 6th. Looks like we had 8 drivers starting on... Well, actually, 7 drivers starting on the medium, the hards. And 1 has already pit for a new set of hards. Ordinal Tux goes up into 16th. But we're looking at the top 3 right now, separated by pretty much half a second from 1st to 3rd. Give or take a 10th. And there's Tom Wolfgram who's parking off. That'll be out into safety. Going to be a shot at anyone. No, Ken Fisher going defensive again, keeping DeMichael at bay. That will cost him some time to Kaminsky, as there's a move between Mark and Lucas. Lucas ahead, Mark in 7th place at the 3rd turn. Sorry we missed it. Is it going to continue into the next turn? No, it is not. So Lucas into 7th with those medium tyres that are 6 lap old. And look, Kaminsky's starting to build a bigger lead now. He's half a second ahead.
Yeah, he's doing a very solid job. It must be quite pressuring to have the drivers behind in your wing mirrors. Any mistake you make, they're going to be right on your tail, but he's holding onto the pressure well. He works his way around the final sector to begin lap 8 out of 36. Still a long way to go. Crucially, Molimo as well has dropped outside of that second range. He's going to lose the extra battery you get for being within that second range. And he's going to be relying only on active aero to hold back Neo Steins, whose tyres I'm sure will be becoming or getting into their window on those hards, being a bit faster and maybe able to mount a challenge to the medium runner. But up ahead, that top 4 is running so close together.
They are indeed. That is Laminen losing position again before the 3rd turn to Gondos. Don't want to be losing a position before that. It is pretty common, but usually it happens in the 3rd turn. Not on this occasion. Gondos up into 14th. Right. You believe. Yes, he's up 3 positions. Mikel is down 5 positions now.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a great start for Kazella, but the biggest starter I'd say would have to be Malimo. He started in 9th. He's now up to 5th.
He's doing a good job, but he's got a bit of a gap to catch up to the top 4, who are again breaking away. Gap getting bigger every single lap. I don't know if there'll be a challenge in the top 4 positions, but there may be an overtake further back. Mark trying to get involved on the back of Lucas SL. Not close enough at a move at turn 3, but who got the best run at turn 3 into turn 4? Another place where you can very easily make an overtake. And I think it's going to be Neo Steins looking to the inside on Molimo. Late on the brakes and cutting him off at the apex of the corner. Good move from the Audi. He's up to P5.
Yeah, but he's now 2 seconds down from Pascal Gill. Even on the same tyres as Pascal. They're struggling. Oh, he's made a mistake through the next turn, and this is going to light up Malimo, but Malimo's stuck in a battle with Lucas. So Malimo's now only made up 3 positions since the start. It might go back down to 2, because he's thinking about it there, and he's got it just before the corner. I didn't catch that, but there it is. Lucas into 6th, ahead of Malimo, as there's a battle behind. That's Marcel Pabst going into the pit lane. The battle at the top 3 is continuing though, and that's DeMichael looking to try and get into 2nd place. This will be the first break in the top 3, but once again, Ken Fisher has to play both offense and defense. And look at this! Pascal Gill's going to come out on the inside. He's going to go like peekaboo. I'm going to try and get through now, but no, he can't. And this might head into the next turn. He's going to go on the outside. Is he going to try the switch back into the turn? Well, we'll have to see, because no, he's not going to get it. They're going to stay as they are, but that could have easily changed hands. Or is it? Look at this on the inside. Pascal Gill on the inside of DeMichael. DeMichael trying to fight back. He has the outside line. He has the racing line, but Pascal Gill is going to cover the inside, and Gill is through just about. What a move.
Great racing up at the front, it sounds like. And as well in the battle, just a little bit behind. Obviously, you managed to catch Lucas SL getting past Molimo last lap. He went a little bit deep into turn 1, went over that raised curb, and Molimo went straight back past again. So the positions are back to where they were before.
And looks like Mark's going to try and get involved again. And that's Lucas wide out of the Nicky Lauda curve, named after the late great 3-time champion. Doesn't look like there's any battling at the top, but Mark is going to get in the inside of Lucas, who's already lost position to Malimo after a crucial mistake. And they're going to continue this battle out of the turn, and they're going to go heading down the stretch again, the back stretch to turn number 4. And is he going to think about the inside? Yes, he is. Oh, and he's collided with Lucas, and that sent him round. And that has pretty much done a lot of damage to Lucas. He's lost another 2 positions to Cavero and Lamas. I think they'll be looking at that in the steward's box, as Mark is struggling with that. Has he got damage from that?
I hope not, but I think Lucas will be counting his lucky stars there. He can go all the way around. It's a good job from him to keep it relatively in a straight line and only lose 2 positions to Cavero and Lamas. But that must be really frustrating on his side. He was doing so well in that battle against Molimo for 6th.
Some more fighting going down now. No, sorry, that's the pitting again. When you go into the pits, you are pretty much... Oh, and that's Mark gone wide again. Is this going to give a opening the door for Cavero? Perhaps, but it's like there's no battles ahead. And there's a battle. Alex Lamas getting ahead of Alexi Cavero. So it isn't going to be Cavero challenging Mark. It was Cavero getting challenged by Lamas, and Lamas is into the top 8 now. And I think it's starting to get to the point where the medium's starting to run out of steam. Look how close Lucas was behind Alexi Cavero. Couldn't get the move though. He needs to make up the positions he lost, but it can't seem to be doing that. But we're getting close to the pit stops now for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. We saw Lamanen and Kizella coming into the pits to their second stint on the hard tyres just that last lap. So we may begin to see these yellow-rimmed medium tyres losing their grip and losing the dominance over the hard tyres. We may see those hard tyres starting to be a bit faster. Most crucially in these trains, obviously, is going to be Pascal Gill, who's currently sat in 3rd on those hard tyres. He'll be looking to mount a challenge to that top 2 that have been sat there since the beginning of the race. Nothing has changed with those 2 positions. But we'll have to see. Is there, I think, we may be seeing a move. Here comes Alex Lamas. And also Molimo going for a move at turn 3 as well. And that's 2 moves completed. Steins gets past Lamas. Molimo gets past Steins and Lamas gets past Mark.
Oh, and Spessi's left the session. I hope he can rejoin because that is going to hurt his race. He's down in 12th. He's had some early teething issues earlier on, but now he's out of the session. Hopefully he can rejoin from that. He's stuck in 12th place right now, so as the AI goes, it looks like he's going to lose a lot of time. You can see, look at it, it's tumbling down. It's went from 2.7, it's 2 now, 1.9. Watch it on the left of your screen. It's falling right down. I don't know if we've got any big fights going on, but I know Orpel is challenging Odinotux for 14th position. Down half a second, quarter of a second for the move, and that is, I believe, that's Lucas lost the number position again. Brian Camporsi, and he's going to get past again on the first corner. This is going to be tight. How did they not collide and spin around? I don't know, but Lucas is now out of the top 10. He's going to try and get back in it. He's run out of energy seemingly, as Spezzi's already been overtaken because he, of course, is out of the session. And Camporsi sneaks his way into the top 10. I couldn't catch the full battle, but he's now in the top 10 after that. Lucky not to come a cropper at turn number 1 with Lucas side by side up the Niki Lauda curve.
Yeah, good little fighting there, and I think Lucas kept his nose in a little bit too long on Ryan Camporsi's inside, but I think lack of battery might have cost him from continuing that fight into turn 3. He must be quite frustrated that he's lost these positions now. He was initially up in the top 3, top 6 I should say, is into the pits. Crucially, comes P1, P2 and P4. So all these medium runners opting to come in now.
Yeah, that means Pascal Gill will take the lead. He started on the hards. And I'm assuming everyone that is pitting, it's a lot of the medium runners. I think it's every one of them, except, I believe, Rondos, who's decided to stay out. Will that prove to be a poor decision? We'll have to see. And Alex Lamas and Neil Steins exchange positions. Of course, it's not 2nd and 3rd at the moment. It'll probably be around the lower part of the order. So they have to pit later. So Zetni Gondos and Alessandro Finn, only drivers who haven't pit and on the medium tyres. Plus Orpel is right behind Zetni Gondos. I think this might be the nail in the coffin for the mediums if he can get ahead of Gondos. Currently separated by a quarter of a second.
Well, I'm also seeing, and unfortunately for Mikhail Kuzella, it doesn't seem like the undercut was too strong. He pitted just 3 laps earlier than these drivers we just saw come into the pits, and he's come out just ahead of Odinotux. So not a huge amount of ground he's gained for pitting 3 laps earlier, and he's now got older tyres, which isn't going to help him at the end of the race.
Well, we are on lap 16 of 36 around the Red Bull Ring in the Styrian Mountains. Fabulous tracks on the calendar. Orpel is going to get past Gondos, and he'll be thinking of pitting soon once Gondos loses the current 6th position. And Camporsi and Mark have also exchanged positions. Camporsi and Mark both also on the hard, so they'll have to pit later, but Camporsi is ahead. I believe that's for net 9th place.
Yeah, I think you're right. Still got quite a lot of cars left to pit. That top 7 still left to come in. Crucially, one of them obviously being Zetani Gondos, who's opted to extend the stint on the medium tyres, but they must be dead by now. He needs to come in.
Yeah, Pabst and Michael were fighting at turn 8. That was for 10th position. Pabst pit earlier, and now he's on 6-lap old hard tyres. Of course, he's second in the championship, 1 point now behind the championship leader, who is, of course, Kamensky, and that's DeMichael going to try and get back past, and he is. So another swap off the positions. Pabst is now going to try and get the position back, you think, coming up the hill. As, yes, Gondos has finally come into the pits, and he'll change to a new set of hards, and he'll be the last to make his pit stop.
Yeah. So now it's going to be a chasing game up to those who started on the hard tyres. Dennis Kamensky is just caught up to the back of Jonas Orpel, who's on those 16-lap-old rubber, significantly slower than the Mercedes. Crucial now that the TES driver isn't held up too much as they work their way through the middle sector, which is likely where he loses the majority of ground. He does not want to lose time to Fisher and D'Amico, who are catching up behind, and they're downing inside, and he gets them on the straight. Fairly straightforward.
Oh, and that's Cazella around again. Cazella had a slide out of turn 5 or 6. I think, I'm not sure what happened. He must have lost control of the car, but he's now lost another position. He's now on 16th again. Audi No Tux is currently chasing down Laminin for 14th place. Alex Lamas and Neil Stein's currently in a duel for 2nd place on the roll, but I do it'll be net 5th or 6th. As, of course, the medium starters are still 4 in bracket and are making their ground up. Current leader of that, Kamensky, is 4.2 seconds behind Mark.
Yeah, he's going to be the next person he catches up to on those older tyres. Still a fight going on in that battle for 14th you were talking about. Laminin leading on in the Tux, behind Mikhail Kuzela, who must be kicking himself after the mistake, and now is in a place he just doesn't feel like he should be, and way outside of the point scoring positions. As there looks like Gondos is getting down the inside and going towards turn 6. He has got a whole car ahead, I believe. I can't get a camera angle of it. He has got a whole car ahead at turn 7, and down another position goes Kuzela.
Yeah, it's starting to fall apart for Kuzela. He pitted earlier, I believe, are in the same time as Laminin. And Pabst as well. Well, actually, it was a couple laps before. Ken Fisher is going to make his move on Orpel, who's yet to pit. Going to go around the outside of turn 3. Orpel defending at the inside, but I don't think he's going to have any speed. No, he's lost that position, and it looks like DeMarco is going to try and get through as well. And this should be, it's not as easy as he thought it would. He has to go on the inside. It gives him a bit of a bump, and he has got it. He is into 8th position for now. Now he's going to resume his battle with Ken Fisher, who is 3.5 seconds behind Kamensky. I think all the traffic has got in Ken Fisher's head. Kamensky is on a massive lead at the moment.
Yeah, it's so huge as there. He goes past another, and that's Mark coming into the pits. And I imagine, during the perspective of Fisher or D'Amico, they're going to be praying that the drivers up ahead opt to stay out and extend their stints, just to try and cause a roadblock to slow down Kamensky, because he's still building that gap. It's nearly 4 seconds now.
Yeah, there's now a battle evolving between D'Amico and Ken Fisher. This is for net 2nd here. And D'Amico has got ahead and is into net 2nd place. He's 4 seconds behind Kaminsky, though, who has clear air in front of him. Well, actually, Camporsi's just 1.2 seconds up the road, but I don't think that'll be too much of a hassle for him, of course, because he has, of course, the tyre advantage. And that's Paps and Malimo fighting for 8th place, tooth and nail. But Malimo is going to be the one that is ahead and on the fresher rubber. Yes, Kaminsky now closing up already to Ryan Camporsi. This should not be a problem for him, actually. I think Camporsi's coming in. He is, and Kaminsky does see him and he does pass him into 4th place on the road. He will go. Actually, it'll be 2nd because Lamas Steins have also stopped and they'll be on mediums at the end of this race. They'll go to Gill now 5.2 seconds ahead of Kaminsky, but of course he gets to pit.
I'm keeping an eye on those cars, actually, because you can't forget those who are on the alternate strategy and opting for mediums in the second stint. Out the pits comes Alex Lamas, who's going to lead them on the yellow tyres. He's going to be in 10th and is just under 8 seconds behind Lucas SL. Let's keep an eye on him to see how much he can charge down with this fresher rubber, as there goes Camporsi past Gondos. And Lucas SL fighting, I think, up at the front. Down the inside he goes on Orpel. And a fairly straightforward move on the fresher rubber.
Or Jonas Orpel is one of 2 drivers yet to pit in this race. Pascal Gill being the other one, of course, in the lead by 4 seconds. But that's going to be gone now because he is in the pits himself.
Oh, I've just seen a car go off, and I think that was Orpel. Yeah, I think it's a puncher. Has he got a puncher? I think it might be a rear puncher. I didn't quite get a camera angle on it. And goodness, that's lucky that Pascal Gill has come into the pits. It is, in fact, a puncher. And that is going to might be his race done. He's stuck in the gravel.
Oh, there he is. I couldn't find his camera for a second. I was trying to click the right button. He is stuck. He is not getting anywhere. This could be, as Ken Fisher has got past it in a second. Sorry. Orpel is struggling to get out. He can't get anywhere. He's stuck there. This is disastrous for him. He's falling down all those positions. If only he pit earlier. Pascal Gill, he was the only driver not to pit at the point Pascal Gill pit, and he's stuck. He can't get anywhere, and he's disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location. So it's over. Unfortunate.
That's so unlucky for him to get that puncher. But yeah, maybe extending that stint wasn't the right choice. But on we go with 2 ET8 drivers now out the race. Only 1 left, which is Molimo, currently sat in P4. That is very upsetting.
That is, you don't want your race to end like that. So Molimo now on his own is in 4th place. 14 laps to go. He's 2.5 seconds behind Amico. And 4 tenths ahead of Pabst, who could be overtaken by Cavero here. Cavero making his move before the corner, and he's already a car length clear before he gets to the turn. Nice move from Cavero, and we've lost Cazella from the race. Cazella has retired on the track.
I think he might have dropped it at turn 1. I'll try and get a camera angle now.
I believe safety car is disabled though.
Oh no, he is very much is. That's a very much damaged DNF. He's right in the middle of the track. I've just seen Odin Tux dodge out the way.
Yeah, I couldn't catch that in time, unfortunately. So that is Cazella out of the race. I think that's just the final nail in the coffin for his race. Just not been a great night for him. Oh no! Lucas has spun! Lucas has spun! And now he's going to be chased by the horde of cars coming behind him, led by Pascal Gill and Alex Lamas. The 2 Cadillacs behind are fighting as I try and avoid the pit lane camera. And we've also got the Audi of Neil Steins behind as well, as that is a move by Cavero again. Back to the battle at hand. That is Pascal Gill coming through. Is the other Cadillac going to get involved? I think so. No, he's not. He's not going to get past Lucas. Lucas going to try and recover all that time he lost from that spin, but it doesn't look like he's going to get past Pascal Gill at the moment. And in fact, Alex Lamas is coming through, and he has got his position as well. So And now Neil Steins as well. It's all falling apart for Lucas. Has he got damage himself, or is he just losing a lot of momentum? Remember, when you spin and skid around on these tracks, you build up a lot of temperature, so it might be in the tyres as well.
Yeah, that is a dream moment for VLS to have a free position for both their cars, and Neo Steins getting past as well. And of course, you've got to remember they're on fresher tyres, fresher medium tyres. It's going to be difficult for Lucas just to stay with them. We'll keep an eye on Gil to see if he can chase up to that top 5.
I think Ken and D'Amico will have to be forced to work together to get close to Kamensky. I don't think Kamensky will be touched at this point. 5.2 seconds. He is going to have a huge lead in the championship. Pabst is in 13th. He's going to have a 17-point lead by the end of this.
Yep, it is a perfect position to be in, it's fair to say. And he's showing the exact domination we were talking about in quali.
Kamensky is in a world of his own right now as the drivers behind him scrap for positions. D'Amico still tagging with Fisher. Limo and Cavero fighting for 4th and 5th. Further down, the 2 Cadillacs are leading the Audi of Neil Steins and the pretty struggling Lucas in the Red Bull. 6th, 7th and 8th place drivers, Hill, Lamas and Steins, on the medium tyres. They're going to try and close up, I think, to the top 5. Emo is 4.2 seconds away from them. Don't want to have much squabbling, that's going to compromise them. Looks all okay at the moment. No moving at the top 5. Is there going to be a move between the 2? Not, but if that's Spezzy getting lapped, he's still in action. I don't think he is.
I didn't see him rejoin, I'm not sure. But he's losing a lot of time, so I'm going to suggest maybe not.
The gap is a quarter of a second between Fisher and D'Amico. This is for the second spot on the podium. Lower steps. Top step is 6 seconds ahead. Becoming a domination nation race for Kamensky. The podium positions are definitely not set in stone yet. And now Orpel's left. Oh, actually Orpel's out of the race, so much difference. Could have 2 feisty battles heading up into the 3rd turn. And D'Amico.
No move as far as I can see, but I think there might be a move behind though. Molimo getting past Alexi Cavero there for P4 up the hill. And I'm sure they're going to be keeping an eye on their timing sheets because they've got Pascal Gil closing them down behind. But they're going into turn 4. Is D'Amico close enough for the move? Not quite, and the order stays the same between the pair of them. 2 little fights going on, and Pascal Gil closing the gap every corner.
Yeah, his gap's now 2.7 seconds, 2.6 now. And it's not just him, it's Lamas and Steins. I think they're working together, a temporary truce between the drivers. Get together, or Storm can truly begin. Get towards Cavero, and then it'll be all-out war for the points, the mid-pack points, you could say. At this rate, 5th place is scoring 6 points, and I think that's probably is... Actually, no, there's Malimo as well, so they could be fighting for 8 points here. In D'Amico and Fisher for 2nd and 3rd. Limo is too far ahead of Cavero to justify any battle. Of course, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Still Lamas and Steins are working together. Have been for the past few laps. 9 to go, and they are 2.3 seconds behind Pascal Gil. Pascal chasing down Cavero. Cavero must be worried sick. He knows that Pascal Gil's closing up with a better rubber. It might stabilise when we get near end of the race, because the tyres, these medium tyres, burn out pretty fast compared to the hards on not just this track but any track.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That those mediums might begin to level off, and he loses that advantage. So he needs to spend his time now while they are faster in closing that gap. But up ahead, D'Amico looking to make a charge up the hill once again towards turn 3. Is he going to be close enough at a move towards Ken Fisher? Again, not quite. The McLaren strong with the defense, but there is a move behind, and there is Cavero making a move past Molimo at turn 3, exactly where we saw the opposite happen last lap.
Yep.
And potentially them two working together, pulling each other along with that extra battery in the active aero to try and get away from Pascal Gill. The gap now 1.4 seconds. It's coming down quick.
Lucas might be losing another position. This is to Camporsi. And he's going to try and get the switch back. Oh, and Lucas nearly loses it. He saves it, but at the cost of the 9th position. Or is it? He's going to try and get back on the inside. This is a bold move from Lucas, but he can't get it. He's lost position, and Camporsi here had more speed on the outside. And now he might be on the bubble here because Marcus is just behind on the better rubber, the 9-lap-old medium tyres, and they're going to be in a clash for the points here. Remember, 11 points doesn't get you points, but 10th place does, and this could be, he could be trying to make it on the inside of the first turn, but he's not going to do it. He's lifting and coasting, as them red lights flashing means, I think he's running out of energy, is he? Well, let's see what happens when we get up to the turn 3, and it's going to be easy as you like for Mark. He's going to take the position. Lucas trying to defend, but I don't think he's going to have any oomph left, as Mark is now into the top 10. But he did pit earlier than the others on the mediums, so you know he has a bit of a disadvantage at the end. His tyres are going to run out faster. Can he hold on? That is the question, and Lucas is now going to have to try and get away from McLaren there. Actually, sorry, the McLaren there is Alessandro Finn. Just ignore him. He has already been lapped.
Yeah. Not having the best day in the office, I think it's fair to say. One to forget for Alessandro Finn, but his teammate up in the top 2 and fighting for that second place. He's doing a very solid job. Now, looking to defend again from D'Amico up the hill of turn 3. We've seen this many times, but no move yet to be completed. Here comes D'Amico. Can he switch to the inside? No. Still thinks it's too far away, but behind, crucially, there is Pascal Gill, who's within the range of an overtake now of Molimo and Alexei Cavero. It's going to be an interesting fight now with that fresher rubber. And he's going to go for it now. Running the battery going towards turn 4, a place where we've seen quite a few overtakes this evening, but not this time round. But he is nose to tail of the ETH driver in front of him.
It's going to be an e-battle here. Big battle for big points. 4th place at the moment is Cavero. That will pay him 8 points. And down there in 8 for the back of it is Steins. He's on for 3 points. 2 Cadillacs getting close now. So yeah, 5-point difference. As now Lucas has got a penalty, it's just got even worse for him. I think he can throw all possibility and all hopes of getting into the point out of the window. It's just turned on its head here, and it's going to be finishing out of the point at this rate. But now D'Amico is closing up. Is he going to try and get the position? No, he's not close enough. But I tell you who is close enough, Pascal Gill. Is he going to go for the move? He's going to try the dive on the inside off Molimo into turn number 3. And he is kept on track, and he is through. What a move. Can his teammate do the same? Can his teammate Alex Lamas get through on Molimo on 4? I think he is. Yes, he is. And now Molimo is going to really be feeling the heat. And not just his track in his position, but his tyres as well. 17 laps old. Remember, Orpel had a puncture at 20. I think if he's managed his tyres okay, I think he'll be fine. But Neil Steins is right behind him, and he's got a lot of time and a lot of grip. He's 2 tenths behind the Molimo. Molimo is still trying to tag along with Alex Lamas, but he's really struggling. I think this is going to be an easy move for Neil Steins. Maybe at turn 1, if not, turn 3.
Yep. And it looks to be that the mediums still have that life in them, but it may be a concern for punchers at the end of the race, potentially for both tyre compounds. And here comes Neil Steins. Great exit out of turn 1. Can he get a run going through towards turn 3? Looks to the inside, and he gets the move done way before the apex of the corner. But ahead, what's going on? A bit of a battle there as Pascal Gill finding his way down the inside of Cavero. Now with the run on the exit of the corner, and I think he'll hold on to P4 as well. Great move from Gill. Oh, down the
look at
inside goes his
this!
teammate. Out of absolutely nowhere goes Lamas, trying to find a way down the inside. He's a wheel there. He's almost the whole car there as they run down towards turn 6, and he is going to be there. Great driving by both Cadillacs, 4 and 5, and they found their way past the hard runners.
They float like Cadillacs, but they sting like beavers. Wait, that's cars. I'm sorry. Had to throw that reference in. You mentioned Cadillacs in that famous line. But now D'Amico is still behind, trying to fight that second position, trying to get it off Fisher before the race is over, before the checker flag. They're 9 seconds behind Kamensky, but that doesn't matter to them. They're fighting for what is a 2-point difference and the second step of the podium. Here they come. This is going to go into the third turn. 3 to go. And here comes D'Amico on the inside. Fisher will have the outside. D'Amico gets ahead right at the apex, drifts ahead, and now Fisher's going to try and get revenge as Cavero's now lost another position. And now Fisher's going to try on the outside. Is he going to try to switch back? Perhaps so. And this is going to be a brilliant switchback if he can hold on. But then there'll be another switchback from D'Amico on the inside. This is fantastic. And oh, when Ken Fisher pushed the curb, but not enough to justify him out of the battle, and he gets back past the heads.
This is exactly the kind of caliber fight we expect on the second lap. We've got 1 lap remaining. It's going to be 10 corners as they come out of turn 10.
Mark,
It's going to go down to the line. It's yellow flags.
Is that Lucas in the wall?
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
Lucas is out in the gravel. As the positions have changed again! Michael back into second place. Ken Fisher will have to try and find a run-up. 2 to go. And he's going to have to try and get the position at turn 3 back. My goodness.
Changing every single lap. That's exactly what we expect from Austria. Couldn't get the move done at turn 3. As you can see, Pascal Gill's closing in with those medium tyres, and the fighting going ahead is there. They swap again as Fisher comes into second. And Pascal Gill is going to involve himself in this fight on the last lap.
Oh, wait.
So no mistakes can be made.
Oh, no. Ken and D'Amico are going to be running scared now. I didn't think this would happen, but it is. Pascal Gill is going to challenge for a podium. The 2 Cadillacs, and remember, Alex Lamas is in the fight for the championship as well. He's 14 points down. Pabst has got himself into the top 10 as well, so he'll get a point to reduce the damage against Kamensky. But Kamensky is well ahead. Look at him, he's 11 seconds. He's already started his final lap. It's 12 seconds now.
Yeah, it's been absolute domination, but the focus for us lies on P2. Ken Fisher, who's been sat in this position for the majority of the race, been under pressure by D'Amico, and now by many more behind. You can see in his mirrors as those on the medium runners have closed in. Here comes D'Amico for the first attack down the inside at turn 3. He's got a wheel there, but he's not quite got a whole car there at the apex. Yes, he does now. It's going to be a drag race between the pair of them with the VSL behind.
And Pascal Gill itching to get involved as the 2 fight into turn 4. He has a front row seat on his on board, and he's just waiting for something to happen, but it's not, and he's unable to get involved. Fisher and D'Amico will fight for second place. They're still fighting. Kamensky's about to finish the race. He has been absolutely fantastic today since the pit stops. He's going to breeze to victory, and it's going to take his 3rd victory of the season and a huge lead in the championship. But look at this! Pascal Gill is trying to get into 3rd place, but D'Amico cuts him off, and now Gill and Lamas will be fighting for the 4th position, and Neil Stein's coming behind as well, but it's going to be Fisher gets 2nd, and Michael gets 3rd. Pascal Gill and Alex Lamas will be 4th and 5th. Steins in 6th, Cavero 7th, Molimo 8th, Hats gets 9th to limit some of the damage. Brian Camporsi gets the last point. 2 Williams finish outside the points, but it is Kamensky who just drifted away after the pit stops and built it up as the chaos unfolded behind him. Kamensky has won here at the Red Bull Ring for his 3rd win of the season, his 2nd win in a row. And now he has a huge lead in the championship. I make it 15 points between him and Pabst.
That's a very ideal situation for him to be in. And we've seen how strong he's been all the way through this season, but that's 2 wins in a row to Kamensky. and I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased with that. But the battle behind was still as chaotic. The drivers so close in ability and on times. You can see how close it was. A photo finish in 2 different places, and the Cadillacs nearly overtaking each other out the final corner. But well done to those. Those Cadillacs are closing in up to the back of the hard runners.
And seemingly effortless victory for Kamensky. Just pushed, well, I say effortless, he seemingly pushed away the rest of the field as the podium there. Very excited with his performance to lift that fantastic trophy and spray a bit of bubbly on the podium as always. Top 3 finished in the top 3. It doesn't sound as exciting for the neutral. Fantastic race behind. Thought that were being cracked by 2 Cadillacs who were running their way up the order on the alternate strategy there. See, the top 3 did remain the same. Alex Lamas moved from 13th after a bad qualifying to finish in 5th. A great finish from him. Pascal Gill made it up 2 positions. Perhaps advanced 1 position. Struggled through the entire race to get a lot of points on the board. Fight 5. That will do it for 5th round of the season. We're pretty much the halfway point. Fantastic soap opera. Imola, which will not be on this year's real calendar unless there's some news about certain races, will be the next round in the championship. That will be in a week's time on August 27th. Of course, Vegas, Mexico, Brazil, Bahrain, and then we're going back to the Americas with Texas at the final round of the season starts of October. Yes, a fantastic win for Kamensky tonight. Gives him a 15-point advantage in this, just the 5th race this season. Of course, still 6 rounds to go, but he was just seemingly unstoppable towards Dennis Tibiabi.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we've seen across this season, but I think this race in particular shows how strong he is and how he doesn't feel the pressure. He's able to pull away from those fighting behind and build a massive gap. I'm excited to see what he does in the second half of the season, but can anyone mount to the challenge? That was the question we had in qualifying.
The answer to that was a resounding no. That is pretty much as much as I can put it. It's just a seemingly effortless performance from him. I believe we're going to get into it pretty soon if drivers in. Back to my game, but yeah, the top 3 remain the same. As I have said, I do apologise. This is I am going to be in admittance here. This is my first time producing a stream, so apologies if there are any problems in this, but I'm sure they'll be sorted out in the next round. But yes, fantastic race from, of course, a fantastic race from the Cadillacs as well is probably another key pointer. Have the in interviews. Hopefully, turn up soon.
Keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think definitely if we're not giving a Driver of the Day award to Kamensky and his domination, we definitely need to have a look at those Cadillacs, because going for the alternate strategy is risky. Having both cars on that alternate strategy is riskier still. But working out, we're using that clean air and working together to pull Neo Steins as well up to the back of the hard runners, catching them on the last lap, and not quite having enough time to find a way through onto the podium, but they just needed a couple more laps.
Yeah, unfortunately there was only 36, which is of course a half-rate distance. Kamensky is looking for an... Oh, he's saying 1 sec. Why he just said 1 chat. Get 1 from in. Meantime, yep. Now. there, Dennis. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. What a win. By double-digit seconds. You just seemingly were unstoppable, especially after the pit stop.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard on this track to gap someone. Like, you saw it. I had insane pace advantage, but there was nothing to do in the first end. Like, I could gap to 7/10, but they would just gap me back on the straight because of the overtake mode. It's so much powerful. So I knew if I box lap 14, I don't need to save tires. I just can push the whole way out until the end. And yeah, I was gaining around half a second per every lap. So yeah, another win back to back. And yeah, we will see what will happen in the second part of the season.
So as I've said, you now have, as it stands in case there's penalties awarded to some drivers. Definitely not you. Pretty much clean as a whistle out there the whole race. You have a 15-point lead going into the final 6 races this season. That must be beyond your wildest dreams, right?
I had expectations that I would win like first 3 races and then I would get promoted to F3, but it wasn't as planned. I got killed in Silverstone, and then was fighting for the win. I won 3 times out of the 4 races I did in the last 4 races. So yeah, it's funny that before Mad Drink, I was 17 points behind, and now I have 15 point lead. Yeah, I'm excited. We will see. I don't like Imola, which is next track, so it will be quite tricky, but I will do my best.
Of course, we've got the next round. Next week. Let's see Imola being next. Do you like Imola?
Not really.
Well, might be the last time we do it as well, of course, because it is. But yes, too much of a tangent. That'll be the next race. But yeah, a fantastic race from you tonight. Avi, you got a question?
I was going to say, what's the mentality going into the second half of the season? Is it still calm, or are you thinking, look how things changed the last few rounds for me? Maybe someone else can do that to me too.
I'm feeling zero pressure. Like, I know these guys are out of my level. Like, I'm 2 steps ahead of them, and they have nothing to do with me. So I'm just going to win all the races and move on.
I like the confidence. That's a good answer.
Yes, great confidence from our winner, Kamensky. Well, you take a back seat. Thank you for putting on a fantastic race for yourself and for everyone watching at home. No, admittedly, it wasn't really the main attraction, we'd say. There was so much. It seemed like all the battling was happening behind, and it even let you extend your gap massively to over 10 seconds. It's quite rare to see that in PSGL, but indeed, a fantastic race from you, sir. So, rest easy, relax, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much. Good night.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye. Right, that was our winner, Dennis Kamensky. Fantastic race, as I've said about 50th time. If you weren't watching, where have you been? Just seemingly dominant tonight. Now we're going to get our next driver, I believe the second place finisher, Ken Fisher. Evening, Ken.
Hello.
Yeah, well, the battle for first seemingly wasn't on the resume tonight, considering how dominant he was after the pit stop. But yeah, your battle with D'Amico was pretty fun to watch, and it was almost a battle involving the 2 Cadillacs as well, who were just rushing up the order near the end.
Yeah, the battle with D'Amico was quite fun. I had some shaking legs going into the 2 double left-hander, but yeah, it was clean and hard.
But those battle, I think it was a few laps to the end of the race, seemingly could not stop fighting him around the corners. It's you, then D'Amico, then you again. Seemingly couldn't end the battle. It was side by side through the entire lap. But you hung on despite the threats from the Cadillacs, and you're finished second place for a whopping 12 points. I believe that was the best result of the season so far.
Yes, it was. I got promoted to P3 in China because of a penalty from Thomas Naminen, I guess. And yeah, I'm very happy with those 2 podiums. The next focus is to win.
We're almost in the halfway point of the season. How is your mentality going into?
Yeah, just focus on the next round. Doesn't look further ahead. Just focus on the moment and try to do the best that I can do right now.
Abby, got a question?
Yeah, I know that these new batteries and these new cars have meant that a lot of the strategies and racing tactics you use when you're battling, I'm sure, has changed. What was the game plan against D'Amico? It looked like you wanted track position and hold on to second place and force him to make the overtake.
Yeah, after the pit stop, it was quite tricky with the battery, but yeah, I wanted track position to have those lift. What can I call this? Lift sections, I guess. But yeah, it was quite intense with the battery, and yeah, track position, I guess, was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that takes you up to 27 points, and that puts you amongst the top 5 in the championship at the moment. Yeah, put you amongst the top 5 at the moment. Actually, I think it might be still 6, but yeah, I think it's still 6 because, of course, Vero, I believe, finished 7th, so he would still be a point ahead of you. Do you have any goals in terms of the standings?
Yeah, the best I can do really. It's always the focus on the championship, but yeah, I think with the race I missed in Madrid, it's not that realistic anymore. But I try my best.
Can't really blame missing Madrid. Of course, it was a new track for all. Having no doubts about weren't the only one, but a great race from you tonight though, Ken. A great battle with you and D'Amico, and it really involved, of course, 2 Cadillacs back. Got yourself your 2nd place finish, very hard deserved, well done. Rest easy, relax, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Right, bye. That all she wrote for tonight's race. I thank you all for watching. Of course, it wasn't pretty easy considering the normal commentary team here tonight, but we do have Abito, as we always do. Abby?
And I'm looking forward to coming back for Imola, a track that we might not see too often, considering its absence in the real F1 calendar. But I'm glad to see it here in PSGL, and I'll be here next week. Oh, I won't be here next week. I lie. I'm on holiday, so unfortunately I'm going to miss it. But I'll be watching it from abroad. Yeah.
Well, I may be around next week. Whoever it will be, though, I'm sure they're going to enjoy Imola, despite its absence from the calendar. That will be next week, same time at 8 o'clock on the 27th of August, assuming it does happen. Some of the races in other divisions haven't happened certain weeks, but we're definitely sure this will happen. So you can tune in to have a seat back and watch some of the excellent action we have going next week. Again, that will conclude tonight's broadcast. I would like to thank everyone for watching, sticking around even after the race and hearing the interviews from our winning drivers. But it is Kamensky, the dominant Dennis Kamensky, once again showing why he is top dog. He now has a 15-point lead in the standings. It's going to take a lot of stopping him in the final 6 rounds. Till then, I will see you all for Imola next week. Thank you for watching, and good night.